product is out there and it is changing lives, because for us that's the end goal. Yes, money is important in business, but we also want to change lives. We also want to meet challenges, and that is also our end goal. And seeing our product out there and doing what it's supposed to do is my oh my. Wow. It's a success.
Wow.
The whole world is undergoing a credit crunch.
The
difference between Uganda and other countries is for us to talk about it, and the president has to talk about it. Other countries don't talk about it. If you realize previously, we've been able to get through our manager because of this social capital. Chisantul would get money, and teams to travel. Even when the government has given them money, the team has traveled. Then the government will pay slowly, and then clear that. But right now, this was facing everywhere, and this is the time where also I've got Olympics coming through. As football, we submitted our budgets for all our calendar submitted there. But do you understand right now, financially, everything's been cut down for 2 years in a row. We had to struggle. And so remember, on a basketball, she has to travel. Everyone wants to travel. But the key thing is ownership of everybody. Like I can tell you, under 16, 4 days to the team traveling. When you go to another, the boys can't travel because of social capital which we have. And I was able to reach one of the parents whose son was playing under 16, who's the captain under 16. And because of that, she said, no way, my boy can be in camp for these few days, but also a few days. They're only there for, the boys actually did only 3 days camp. So because there was no money, I'm not sure if the government is going to give you or not, because of everything going on, preparation becomes very poor. And if you've seen, before the lockdown, other things we had before, our teams have been preparing. And if you've seen, we're taking over the Kenyan national team, all those, in the region. Rwanda is in Afro, first of all, because they're hosting. But Uganda, we have to go through the hard way to be there. That's something which is very key for us. So the key thing, what I'm talking about, what I'm requesting is all stakeholders in Uganda. Coca-Cola, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Hima Cement, you make a lot of money in Uganda. Total, Shell, all these banks, they make money in Uganda, a lot of money in Uganda. Their willingness to give back to community. I know we can, through the sports development, we can ask the government that whoever is giving, supporting the sports area, we give back. Maybe you can get a tax holiday. So there we'll have continuity.
Hygiene, because impression is key. Remember, you're serving coffee. Coffee is so simple. If you see, I don't know if you have some coffee cups here. I will show this. You can find a very small cup, and you have to do a pour over there. So if you're dirty, you have to, you have to be so hygienic. Where you work from, the way you present yourself, are you attractive? You yourself, you're the first marketeer of your coffee. Because people may come to the station and maybe they have never taken coffee. Does that mean you will never sell your coffee? No. But if you present yourself well, you tell some people you look nice, you dress well, you smell well, they can even give you audience. You talk to them about the coffee and the advantages. Convince them, but you not convince somebody when you're stinking, you're looking shabby, Nobody can allow you brew their coffee when you're ramshackled. Hygiene matters. Your personal hygiene, the sanitation at your station, it really matters. A lot. And there is no excuse for that.
I said, I'm still learning. I don't think I'm ready to be a CEO yet.
Yes.
Well, so for me, I could say bring the perspective of someone who has gone through the challenges.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been on the side of someone that needs to get their documents.
Yeah.
And I've also been on the verification end.
Yeah.
So I really understand the pain points from a personal perspective. And I think for me, that's what drives me.
Yeah.
Because I know that challenge.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And that basically drives me to push, drives me to better explain, what the product does. Because sometimes, even when you get into spaces, people just think, oh, you've just got this product, you don't understand what it does, you don't really understand the challenges. But as someone who understands the challenges, I'm able to better explain what the product brings on the table from a personal perspective. So I think that's been a success. And the fact that we have managed to get partners here is a huge, huge success. Okay. It's a huge success. When something is new, it's very difficult for people to hop onto it. Yeah. And if people get onto it, sometimes it's usually for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
But when you actually find people that that believe in it, that want to work with you to keep improving it, that want to work with you to keep having that feedback to improve the product, it is a big plus. It's a big plus. Because you could build a product, put so much time and money into it, and it's not used by anyone.
Wow. Which we have seen before.
It's a reality.
Yeah.
But the fact that, our product is out there, and it is changing lives, because for us, that's the end goal.
Yeah.
Yes, money is important in business, but we also want to change lives.
Yeah.
We also want to meet challenges, and that is also our end goal. And seeing our product out there and doing what it's supposed to do is my.
Wow.
It's a success.
Wow. Coming back to the show, from where we left, you talked very profoundly about change management and how you were able to manage change moving forward. A lot of us find it very difficult, to be honest with you, to move from one point to the next point. Some people are stuck in jobs, they can't move 15 years, 20 years, no personal development, no self-awareness. The leadership journey is completely severely limited, that they are not able to move from one point to the next, and so there is no growth. Now, when there is no growth, there is no transformation. Yeah. We want to go to the transformation, Irene. And transformation means you have managed change, and if you manage change, you transform to a different person, and if you transform from a different person, you transform the community. We begin to see the transformation in the community. You've been to different places. Yeah. Describe for us the transformation in different places that you have been to.
Okay. So where do I begin from?
First of all, what is your understanding of transformation? The word transformation.
Transformation to me means
what can the men do, to promote women's sports or basketball for that matter?
Yes, so today morning, someone told me, he made research, actually my brother, that these days the NBA actually facilitates the WNBA games to see that they're also somewhere. How about the NBL men starts doing something, not totally like investing in and all that, but it can be with the support system. It can be one very good thing, seeing that creating more opportunities for these ladies, putting up different games like, so as like women can be like seen or showing that these guys also like care. It can start with support, and then with time they can also like recommend whoever facilitates them to like partially have his thoughts somewhere on the women's team, so that like they can all go about like together, in solidarity. I think that can work. I don't know, I don't think it's something big. It can start with support and then financially with time.
The private sector is not yet fully utilized because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector than in government. So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and invest in the right areas, there's been a lot of talk about value addition in the agriculture sector, in the mineral sector. If there is enough investment in those areas, I think it can create enough jobs for our children and grandchildren.
Okay. I just want to take you to question number 4, Andrew, which is, let's talk about your journey at City Hall and the foray into the Executive Director's office, which is as Andrew Chitaka,
Very
as
interesting.
well as the Director Engineering.
Very interesting. I joined KCCA on 1st November 2011. And before then I was
for so much.
CEO
of whatever, they give so much
This is the reason why you're actually on the bench.
because of my credibility. Thank you so much. But now they attack you, they vilify you, and the goal is to weaken you financially, is to weaken your honor. These are slanderers. So I'm glad that someone would stay up at night to ask and learn about me. And I pray that in the next 2 months, because I know many Ugandans who travel overseas, when they go there, one of the things, because the media has been so much, and Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has really not done a good job. He has dropped the ball on this issue. Why? So many of us are being accused of being gay killers, including me. You've just heard that person. Uganda is being accused that we kill gays, which actually is absolutely untrue. And because of this, it has affected our tourism. It affects people who go overseas to do work or study. It affects whenever you go to a conference. Hi, my name is Eddie Okiela. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Oh, you are the gay killers. And then you begin to describe. So one of the things that I've done is I've written a book, which should be coming out. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but the work of doing a book takes a long time, and I wish I could be supported. You know, many people who write on this subject, like Sylvia Tamale, she's supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. There is money.
There is a very big brand, and as we go on, we will probably discuss the things we're trying to do to see that things change for the better.
Good. Sean, on the CEO bench, for everyone who is following, we're live on our YouTube studio where we actually streaming from. So YouTube studio, for everybody asking for a link, is actually House of Talent UK.
Confident in themselves and what they are offering.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest problem. Like, women will easily settle for a less pay than men would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mona Onyeto Deke goes on to say, or I think this is a comment, says, I didn't know that beauty products are taxed at 60%. Whoa.
They are. I pray that changes soon, but they are.
Okay. So
Yeah.
with that challenge of 60%,
setting up the company, you're doing tours all across the world. You know, a personal account is great, but how these things are taxed becomes important for you know, for your business later on. As soon as you cross that threshold of 50 million a year, you know, you're now in
the interest become more
shares.
Yes. It is a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and my guest this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending on which part of the world you are actually catching the CEO Bench from, is Irene Esther Mutuzo, a young girl springing out from the suburb of Kampala, Uganda, the capital city of Uganda. And of course, going around the world and doing many things across the world. She's a lady on a rise, the young lady on a rise to the top. And with about 25 nominations to come to the CEO Bench, we of course have Irene this afternoon or this morning or this evening on the CEO Bench. Irene, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and it's such a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And we just want to know, who is Irene Mutuzo in a nutshell? Are you Ugandan? If yes, where do you come from? What are the values that define you as a person?
Okay. So Mutuzo Irene Esther is a Ugandan. I come from Kisoro. I was born in Kampala, particularly Mulago Hospital. I am a firstborn of two very great parents, my dad and my late mom. We are four in our family, that is me and my siblings. I love people. I love to speak. I love to write. In my work, I work as the head of business growth and PR at Liwala, which I'll be talking more about. I also love to write poetry and perform poetry. The values that define me, well, I'm a Christian, and I believe that our lives are sort of like a masterpiece that God has built, and we are here to serve. So for me, it's more on godly principles, things like humility, things like forgiveness, things like listening to others, treating others well. So those are the different values that define who I am. And hard work and learning, continuous learning, being humble to always know that I don't know it all. So I need to learn.
Wow.
And there's always something to learn from someone. Whatever category they are at, whatever class they are at, there's always something to learn from everyone.
Wow. Well, welcome to the show. This is Irene Mutuzo, who is our guest this morning on the CEO Bench, or this afternoon, this evening, depending on which part of the world you're watching the show. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone all across the world, all our brothers and sisters in the US, those who are staying up late to catch the CEO Bench. And of course, Dennis is in Australia, and of course, Professor Penny Nachayo, the Assistant Professor for Design Communication, Washington University. Welcome to the program. I hope we'll be able to put everyone to sleep. And Irene, what a moment in a journey that we're going to have this morning. I want to just take you straight to the story of Irene Mutuzo. Growing up, did you ever see yourself being where you are today?
Honestly, no. and I'll tell you, and I like to share this story because, you know, it defines me.
Yeah.
So growing up, I actually used to struggle with stammering. And even to date, on the days I'm not mentally prepared, you'll notice that I will stutter a lot, or I will have a lot of long pauses in between my sentences, because those have become my coping mechanisms. And I remember in my S1 at Navisunsa Girls School, I'd actually, you know, going in, I'd got into the debating club, and then I realized that I loved to speak. I could actually speak if I put my mind to it. And I actually made an impression, and I was given an opportunity to read the news on a Monday assembly.
At school?
At school. Well, I practiced and practiced, and I went to read the news. I get to the podium, and I don't know what happened, but I froze. I literally froze and kept stammering and stuttering, and for lack of a better word, it was a disaster. And I walked away from that podium, vowing never to speak in public, lest I embarrass myself. But I remember, and a couple of weeks later, I kept shying away from public speaking opportunities until I told myself, you know what, I can let this define me, or I can rise up from it. So I kept, you know, I went back to debating. I went back to learning how to speak. I got into speech competitions. Did I win them? Not really, but I kept getting better at it. And even today, I'm getting better at it. And I always share that story because now in my adult life, I literally speak every day for a living.
Wow.
And even in my previous roles, I've been in marketing, I've been in PR, I've been in communication. I never ever thought that's the path I would take. But you know, things happened. I always thought I would probably be an engineer or a doctor. Then somewhere in my S6, then that's when I realized, okay, I love to speak, so I thought I would be a lawyer. Then I realized that I want to understand people, and I love to understand people. So I get into psychology, and then I realized that there's a lot more about people to learn from and to share and communicate.
Wow. Irene, let me take you back a little bit. For all our guests and rather viewers viewing the show from all across, you know, the world, and people who do not know you very well. As a young girl growing up in Uganda, you earlier on stated that you spring or come out from, you know, Kasese.
Kisoro.
Kisoro.
Yes.
So
I'm a Mufumbira.
Yeah. So if I'm watching this show and I want to know what happened in Kisoro, and this girl I'm seeing now, all nice, beautiful, put together, but I don't know where this Kisoro is, which part of the, you know, Uganda is this place from. Take us a little bit back about your journey from childhood and the ancestry of Mutuzo.
So I won't lie. It's not that I grew up in Kisoro. No, that's you could say that's where my village is. My village is actually on the border of Rwanda and Uganda. So that's where my village is. But I grew up in I could say my parents had very humble beginnings, and as a firstborn, I saw that. So we went from a one-room apartment in Kasubi. It wasn't even called an apartment, but I'm just saying the word apartment. So I saw my parents really work hard and grow to where they are, and that also sort of had an impact on me. And And for me, when I was in school, I just always wanted to do more. So I was one of those kids that was everywhere, just trying to do more. Even when I wasn't good at some things, I just wanted to learn and do more. And particularly, I could say my work life began when I was about 14 years. I was chosen to be part of a group to begin a pull-out, then called Teens, at New Vision. Now that pull-out
Teens magazine, the publication, the New Vision, the publication that comes out of it.
Now it's called Swag, but then when we were starting it out, it was Teens. So that's how I began my work journey. So at first it was, you know, something you do, you like. I would keep sending in articles, I would keep writing. Then in my S4, I had some time on my hands, so I went in and I was also helping out with the editorial work. And then I grew in my writing, I grew in my communication. Then particularly in my S5, S6, then I was the president of the debating club of Nabi Sensa Girls School. And we had, you know, this dream to have the biggest debate ever. And we kept trying to look at, you know, which person we would invite as the guest of honor. And one of the people that came to our minds was Mr. Robert Kabushenga. But because, you know, he was quite popular that
then
time.
He was the CEO.
Yes, then he was the CEO, and he was quite popular. And, you know, one of those people that is very difficult to get. We were quite scared on whether he would even come. So we even had a plan B. Now, because I had been at New Vision writing, my friends thought, oh, now, Irene, here you can get this done. So, so I was put on a mission to get Mr. Kabushenga to come and be our guest of honor. And I remember taking that letter with our patron. I thank God he wasn't there because I was so nervous. And but he responded to the letter and he came. And when he came, you know, indeed the debate was really big. It had all this coverage. And he was so impressed with the organization, and he told us, you know, the cabinet can come and work at New Vision, like voluntary work.
This is the debating cabinet of the Nabi Sensa Girls School
in Maya. So we ended up having could say VAC job. And you know, when VAC came, my friends were like, okay, Irene, Mr. Kabushenga promised us this opportunity. Please go and ask. so being bold, yes, we did go and ask him, and he was very open. And he made sure we got those opportunities. And I remember him telling us that if you work hard, you'll actually get full-time jobs. So we worked hard, and we ended up getting full-time jobs. So I was at New Vision for about 4 years, and throughout my campus life, I was actually working at New Vision. Then in my third year, now when we had to do the usual internship, I also got an opportunity to intern at the United Bank for Africa. It was meant to be for 3 months, but I'm humbled that they liked the work I was doing, so they kept me on for some more months. And that particular year was tough, very, very tough.
Why do you qualify it as a very tough year?
I was juggling school as a finalist, and you can imagine I had exams, I had a thesis. I was still at New Vision because I felt it wasn't yet my time to leave. I still wanted to learn, and then I also had the internship. So my day looked like 8 to 4, I'm at the bank. After 4, I ran to New Vision. Then I was doing evening classes, so at about 7, 8, I'd then take a bike to class.
Wow.
And that was my day. That was.
So which campus was this?
It was at Makerere. Yes,
All right.
But I'm glad that, you know, I went through that season. It taught me resilience. It taught me the ability to juggle a lot of things. I learned so many skills. So many skills that I would later use in my year. I'm glad that I didn't fail at any of the things. I actually passed, and even in school, I was on top of my class. So it just pushed me to work hard because I knew I didn't have time.
Wow. Irene, I mean, hearing your story, you sound so mature at that age. You sound so very organized at that age. And we often don't find people within that age bracket that would be very organized and very sound to be a little bit more astute in what they want, looking at what they want. How old were you, and where would you place your ability to be that organized, to be that very, you know, what I would say, upright in the mind, that you know what you want to do, you know how to get it, and you're stuck to that point of saying, I will do it. How old were you, and what was your driving factor, to say the least?
Well, I could say I was about 19 to 24,
yes.
23,
yes.
23.
Yes.
And no, I wasn't organized.
Why do you say you were not
I was
organized?
just
Yes.
trying to figure out life,
Yes.
and I thank God that all these opportunities came to me,
Yeah.
and I grabbed them as like, you know, sometimes opportunity comes to us once.
Yes.
And I believe, I'm a firm believer in nothing happens to
Yes.
you
By accident.
By accident.
Yeah.
And God has a reason why that thing is happening to you.
Yes.
God has a reason why He's putting you in that space.
Yes.
God has a reason why He's putting certain people in your life.
Yes.
So for me, it's not by accident.
Yes.
And I can tell you, no, I wasn't organized. Yes. I was someone learning, yes. And you can imagine someone learning on the job.
Yeah.
And even later, after now graduating, I now started working at Brighter Monday.
Yeah.
Then after Brighter Monday, I began working at Green Hill Schools, where I got my first, I could say, opportunity as a young manager.
Yeah.
And even in that role, yeah. I learned, my God, it just stretched me, and I learned and I grew. Because, you know, as a manager and as a leader, of course, you know, when you're older, there are certain things you have seen over the years. But we young managers, at times we need to learn things by doing. And we also need to learn by asking questions from people who have been there. So particularly that opportunity to manage people, you know, some people who are much older than I am, the opportunity to begin a department, a PR department, right from scratch, was really, really humbling. Because I learned, and I always say, I don't know what the people at Green Hill saw in me. Because as young, as literally 25 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, they took a chance on me, and I'm forever grateful. Because, my God, I learned, and I created so many relationships there. One of my mentors is my previous supervisor, Mrs. Joy Brain Kamaraka, and oh gosh, I learned from her. I learned about criticism. You know, we as human beings, we do not want to be criticized, but we need to be criticized. And even in my role and my work at Diwala, we have a very open culture whereby, you know, we want to grow each other, we want to help each other. So when there's something that is going great, we'll say it. When something is not going great, we'll tell each other, you know, that, you know, we need to improve. And that's the culture we need to have to be able to grow. Because if you do not have people that are telling you yes, you can have a lot of people telling you what you're doing right, but they're not telling you where you're going wrong, you're not going to learn. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we are talking to Irene Mutuzo on the CEO bench this morning, and of course, or this afternoon, this evening, depending on which part of the world you are actually catching this program from. The CEO bench will take a break, and when we come back, we will continue with the interview with Irene Esther Mutuzo, who is the head of business development and PR at Diwala, actually, Diwala, the company that we're going to get to know more about what it does and how they do their stuff. She got 25 nominations from you. So if you're one of the people who nominated her, we would like to hear your kisses and disses coming in. Please send in your comments, your kisses and disses. And of course, this interview is streaming live on our page. So go in there and share it far and wide with everyone, so that you never know which part or who actually is listening into and which part of their life you're going to change. We'll be right back after the break. people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They have moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's